Hi, my name is Tiago Duarte and welcome to another video here at Daily Beats. In today's video, I'm going to do a lo-fi beat. So let's jump into FL Studio so that I can show you what I've done. And as you can see, it's a quite extensive already arrangement and it has a lot of sections and a lot of... Let's start with this part of the chorus, which I really enjoy. Let's go with the drums. So I have here some of the samples from our presets, and I used this one here from MPC60, and there are here some that sound really cool. And because I wanted a lo-fi beat, I went for this type of low, or not low, but old school drum machines, and the MPC60 is one of them. I could also have used the SP1200 and the Lean drum I think I have here. Yeah, so there's a bunch of kits that I have here that emulate, or they are actually sounds from recordings from those old school drum machines. And yeah, so if I want old school vibe of drums, that's what I went for. And this is the kick that I used. And this is pretty much the preset. I will play the entire drum kit afterwards, after I showed you all the sounds that I've used. So next up we have the snare. For the snare, again, it's probably a different preset, but it's basically always the MPC60 that I used. And this is the snare. As you can see, very what's the word that I'm looking for? Hip-hop-ish, but also some lo-fi vibe to it. And then I chose this hi-hat again through the FPC, and this is the hi-hat. And as you can see, there's this up and down of volume to create a little bit of a swinging movement to make the track a little bit more interesting. Then I added this second hi-hat. And again, this is also from FPC, and it's probably one of the MPC60, as you can see here, one of the presets from there. Then I also have these live hi-hats, and these ones are actually the FPC default drums that come with it when you load the FPC, and they sound really cool. And this is what I used. I used the closed hat and the pedal hi-hat. As you can see, there's some variation here to make the track a little bit more interesting and a little bit more live. So let's listen now to the drums and let's see how they sound. As you can hear, really nice. They sound very lo-fi, smooth, and they are slow. It's 88 BPM. But one of the things that I like to show you is here in the mix. One of the things that I used to make this sound a little bit extra lo-fi was to remove a little bit of the low end and the high end and focus a little bit more in the mids, because as we know from back in the days, we didn't have the same fidelity that we have today. So there was a little bit of lacking in the low frequencies and the top high frequencies. And whenever you take some of those down, you get a more old school vibe. And this is what I did to make the track a little bit more old school. I also applied Kramer Tape stereo here to give it a little bit more a tape saturation type of feel, and this also improves the lo-fi-ness of the beat, if that's the word. So let's go now here. I wanted to show you this part here of the chorus, but maybe I can show you this electric piano, which were the notes that I created for this track, and they sound really, really cool. And for this electric piano, I just use Velvet, as you can see here, and it sounds really cool, and it sounds something like this. It took me a while to get there, to be honest. I had to mess around with the notes and move chords around to try to get the best melody, but I think it sounds really, really cool. And after I had this, I was like, okay, let me export this as a sample and pitch it down to see how it sounds. And this is the part here in the chorus that you can see, this section here. So let's listen how does this sound with a low pitch, and then I will put the drum so that we can listen to everything. As you can hear, a very, very moody vibe, and I think I really enjoy it. And let's hear now with the drums. Okay, so I really enjoy this track and the way it came about. I think it sounds really mellow and really melodic, and lo-fi has a very nice lo-fi element to it. So, and as you can see here, I alternate between the low-pitched sample and the high piano chords, or the high electric piano, or the normal electric piano chords. Next step, let's see here the bass. For the bass, I used a 3X oscillator. As you already know, this is my favorite plugin to make basses, and it's very versatile, and we can do a lot of good stuff with it. So let's hear the bass alone, and then let's see it in the context of the track. As you can hear, it follows a little bit of the same chords of the melody, and this is how it sounds with the drums and the electric piano. Okay, the next element that I added here for this chorus was this electric guitar, and I think this sounds really, really nice. It makes the track sound a little bit more old school. It gives the track a little bit of a different vibe. So let's see what I did here. I used the free pack essential guitars from Flex, and I love this extra pack from Flex, and I also love the Essential bass guitar. I think it's a really cool addition that FL Studio just added to Flex, and it's free. So it's just amazing. And let's see what I did here. So I followed the same chords, but I did it in a strum. So it makes the track a little bit, or it makes the guitar a little bit more evolving, and this is how it sounds with the full context. As you can hear, very chill, very smooth, very nice, and it has the lo-fi element that I think it sounds really, really cool. So to support a little bit of the electric piano, I also created some keys with the same notes of the electric piano plus an extra octave down, and this is how the piano sounds. very cool, and this in the context of the track. Let's hear this transition and let's see how it sounds when the keys get in. It just gives a little bit of extra tone in the high frequencies, and it just helps support the electric piano chords, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. And now let's go to the final element that I added here to make this track sound really cool. And how I did this was I first created the main loop with the electric piano and the variations, and then I created the last chorus with some strings. And then I was like, yeah, but I don't want to give away the strings right away in the first chorus. So that's when I added the guitar to make the chorus a little bit different from the last chorus. So let's hear now the last section where I added the strings. And I think this string sounds really, really cool. And as you can see here, I cut a little bit of the strings all over the place because I wanted to have a silence in certain areas of the track. And I think that gives a little bit more rhythm to the track and makes it sound more interesting. One of the things that we often hear is less is more, or silence is golden. And this is one of the things here that we can take away from this track or this thing. Sometimes making specific cuts and removing elements just can make the track so more interesting. So let's hear the melody first so that I can show you what I've done. And for this one, I have some keys here, and I also have some strings. So let's hear both and let's see how they sound. As you can hear, it's pretty much some strings and some pianos playing the same notes in a different octave to give it a little bit more interest. And now let's hear everything in the context of the track to see how it sounds. And this is it, guys. I think the track ended up really, really cool, really nice. This lo-fi vibe, it sounds really, really cool, really chill, and it just makes me think of just relaxing, laying down and listening to some music and just do some daydreaming. And I think I really enjoy this track, and I think it sounds really cool. And yeah, it's the important takeaways here is whenever you want to do some lo-fi, you have to use sounds that are old school or have a low fidelity to it. And then you can also apply the curves that I told you in the low end and the high end, reduce a little bit of those frequencies so that you have a more mid-centric track, and that can also help you to give this lo-fi vibe that we all enjoy. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have here the playlist so that you can check some FL Studio beginner tutorials, and I will also have here a playlist that you can see all my tutorials and become a master in FL Studio, so that it's just you and music. That's it. My name is Tiago Duarte, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.